Sometimes I feel like I'm living in the future, and then other times I kind of think, if the future was really reliant on this little scatterbrained moron, it would look a lot like this.
Computer, estimate the time from this location to Starbase 416 at Warp 9.
Cheeky song, Touch My Bum by the Cheeky Girls from John Luke's Spotify.
All joking aside, this is a nosy, psychotic little idiot, and it is watching your every move. And I started to think to myself, could I just build this? Could I just make this myself? Spoiler alert, I did build it, and it's way better. Is the ready room door locked?
No, the ready room door is unlocked. I called Home Assistant's live context function. It returned that the lock entity switched but lock ultra. The ready room door is in the unlocked state, so the door is currently unlocked.
She got such a sexy voice. Ridiculous. And there are a whole bunch of things that go into doing so. First of all, you need a microphone, something you can actually speak to. Then you need a brain, which, if you didn't already know, isn't in this thing. It's in the cloud on the internet, and it's watching you poo. And you need somewhere to back all of your information up in case this thing dies. You wouldn't want to stick your entire smart home into one object. Your smart home needs to exist somewhere where it can be recovered if this thing died, or whatever it is you replace this thing with. That's not it though. Not only do you need a mic and a brain and somewhere for your intelligence to actually live, you also need a smart home in the first place. You need somewhere where all of your smart home devices can exist so that the brain has somewhere to go and press buttons for you. All of my smart home exists in one location. I can use one app to control it all, and even if I do use Amazon Alexa to control those things, it's speaking to that one location that then speaks to all of those devices for me, and that location is called Home Assistant. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you my smart home. That's it, it's all in there. This is a mini PC. I bought this mini PC off Amazon, and basically I put Home Assistant on it, and then I started feeding Home Assistant all the information it needed to be able to control the devices around my smart home. So this thing can control light bulbs, it can start scenes and routines, it can do all sorts of stuff and present it to me in a gorgeous dashboard, if I do say so myself. This is my work. It's not my work, it's the work of somebody far more intelligent than me, and I stole his work and then put it on the internet for everybody to look at. And this thing works with Amazon Alexa. It advertises all of its devices to Alexa just using an Alexa skill the same way as most smart home stuff does. You install the Home Assistant Alexa skill into Amazon's Alexa app, and Bob's your uncle, everything that is on this device can be controlled with your voice, but you're relying on Jeff to do it. I don't want to do that. The next thing I did was bought this handsome little devil. Maybe it's a white cube. I know it's a white cube. So this white cube has got a spinny disc on it, a little button on it, but more importantly, it's got microphones on it, and it connects directly to Home Assistant and takes about 20 seconds to set up. Once you've got this thing connected to your Wi-Fi, Home Assistant discovers it, and you can pretty much just start using it as a microphone straight away to control your devices without Jeff.
Okay, now do.
Turn photography area on.
Turn on the light.
What? I haven't even done anything yet. That literally just works straight off the bat. Awesome. Thanks for watching. See you next week. There's obviously a little bit more exciting stuff to come. So that is how easy it is to get basic stuff working. If I wanted to say what time is it, it'll tell me the time. If I want to ask what the weather is like, it'll tell me the weather because Home Assistant has a weather forecast in it.
Okay, now do.
Do I need an umbrella today if I leave the house?
Partly cloudy and 2.1 degrees C outside. There's no forecast of rain, so you shouldn't need an umbrella today.
That's a bit cool, isn't it? That's a bit cool, isn't it? My wife has made me uninstall that voice, so that's gone. I was wondering if you wanted to go get a drink sometime.
Sure thing, big boy. Just don't tell your wife, okay? Let's keep this between us.
If I want it to control light bulbs, it knows how to control light bulbs. It works straight away. It really is very, very cool. It's called Home Assistant Voice, and it's still in beta, but, you know, it works great. I've taken it a step further, because fun Because nerd. Because virgin again. I'm now a virgin again. It's Christmas in the ready room. Set the lights accordingly.
All ready room lights have been set to a festive Christmas palette. The main lights are red, and the accent lights are green. Enjoy the holiday glow.
How cool is that? How cool is that? That's not a scene. I didn't create that. It just created that. Just from scratch. It just made it up just now. That's why it took a while. So, I decided I was going to install a local language model, an LLM. It's what ChatGPT is, but much smaller, because I wanted to run it locally. Now, you can actually use ChatGPT over the internet to control Home Assistant in exactly the same way, but you're relying on the internet, and that kind of defeats the object of this particular project. So what I did was I installed a local language model on my Mac, because my Mac is very powerful and has the ability to listen to me and to make decisions and to do stuff, which means I can do some pretty random things with my smart home that I would never be able to do with this little moron. Check this out.
Alexa.
Is the ready room door locked?
Sorry, I didn't find a group or device named any room door.
What? You didn't even hear? I'm right here. How did you not even hear that? It wouldn't have got it right if it had heard me.
Okay, Nabu.
Is the ready room door locked?
No, the ready room door is unlocked.
Okay, Nabu.
How do you know?
I called Home Assistant's live context function. It returned that the lock entity switch but lock ultra, the ready room door is in the unlocked state, so the door is currently unlocked.
She got such a sexy voice. Ridiculous.
Okay, Nabu.
Where is my wife?
Your wife, Nisha, also spelled Nisha, is currently not at home.
Okay, Nabu.
How do you know?
I query Home Assistant's live context. The person entity Nisha, your wife, also spelled Nisha, is reported as not home, meaning she is currently away from the house.
Ridiculously sexy voice. Well done. Well done, sexy woman voice. Brilliant. This whole thing's a waste of time because you can't even use Spotify. Rubbish! I'll stick to Alexa, thank you very much. I like that Jeff watches me pee. Here at Amazon, customer satisfaction is our #1 priority, which is why Jeff Bezos personally oversees every moment of your day. He's definitely not looking at you in the bathtub for sexual reasons. He's not a pervert.
Who else but Bezos, Bezos, he's watching you in the tub.
This is where I went down the next rabbit hole of Home Assistant. Got very lost and very angry. God, this has been the worst 2 days of my entire f***ing life. I went down the rabbit hole so that you don't have to. I'm going to include my YAML file below, and if you're a Home Assistant guy, you'll know what to do with that. If you're not, and you're interested in doing this, again, just ask ChatGPT. Just say, Paul Hibbert created a YAML file for an automation. How do I install that into Home Assistant so I can use it? And it will tell you exactly how to do it.
Okay, Nabu.
Play songs by Norah Jones.
YouTube wouldn't let me use Norah Jones. I tried and they demonetized my video. So now you've got AI. You can bitch about it in the comments. I will laugh at you.
Getting Spotify working for me was hell. It won't be for you. You need Spotify Plus. It's an integration in Home Assistant. And basically, you have to set up a developer account and log in and give it a client secret. All that sort of thing that I'm not going to walk you through because, again, ChatGPT will tell you exactly how to do this. But once you've got the Spotify Plus integration into Home Assistant, you just create an automation that says, load those things through Spotify Plus on whichever speaker it is you want it to load out of. I set it to do this thing so I can continue to make use of it. So this thing is plugged in, it's got its microphone switched off so it's no longer listening to me, and it just acts as a speaker for Home Assistant from now on. Genius. Next up, I needed some kind of backup solution in case my mini PC and or my Mac decide to collectively crap their pants. And UGREEN have kindly sponsored this video and sent me their NASync DH2300. Oh my god, you could just back up Home Assistant using Google Drive! Paul Hibbert is such a shill! Paul Hibbert is such a shill! Who are you talking to? Talking to my wife. Who's over there? I'm talking to my wife and my dog! They do exist! Of course you can do that. But this is a video about localizing your entire smart home assistant, and it wouldn't make much sense if I then advised you to upload all of your data to Google. The scummiest of corporate scum. I prefer to be rebel scum, thank you very much. Listen, I'm just here for the rebellion. Not because George Lucas keeps writing Natalie Portman's clothes out of the script.
Just relax, concentrate. What about Padme?
Disgusting! So the nice thing with this NAS is you've got 2 bays for 2 separate drives, which means that you can stripe them one to the other, so if one dies, you don't lose your data. And you can put up to 60 terabytes in this thing, which is flipping enormous, which means that when I finally come to do my next project, which is install Frigate for Home Assistant and have all of my Reolink cameras backing up to this location, they can all go onto this NAS. And it's got enough RAM and CPU for all of the cameras around my network to be delivering 4K simultaneously, which makes it perfect for this project. And be remotely accessible even when I'm outside of this house via UGREEN's NAS app. And there's no cloud subscription for this 60 terabytes of storage. Of course you could do all this via Google, but if you are going to do the Frigate thing and have all of your cameras backing up to a location, you don't want to be paying for Google Drive to do it. And there's a reason you've heard of UGREEN. UGREEN have certifications for TUV, ETSICC and Trust E, and 2-factor authentication to help protect your data from unauthorized access. Listen, I know this is starting to sound like an advert, but I'm serious. It's actually really important to have these things because I have a friend who had his drive hacked from across the internet, not from UGREEN. Thankfully, this would be an embarrassing sponsorship if it was. But he got hacked and he got an email from someone saying, listen, if you want your family photos back, you're gonna have to pay me $1,000. UGREEN, hopefully, I mean, never say never, but hopefully you're not going to have that problem because they're a proper recognised brand with proper security certification. And perhaps equally as importantly, this is a cost-effective solution. It's cheap normally anyway, but the Black Friday deals is still on. Go check it out. Go check it out now. This is still rubbish! What about shopping lists? I use shopping lists all the time on Alexa to communicate to my wife that... I don't have a wife. To communicate to my dog that... The dog ran away. So that when I get to the supermarket and I'm going around my trolley, I know what to buy, alright? I do have a wife and a dog. And a cat. And I'm not a virgin! Never said you were a virgin. If you were, you'd know how to use Home Assistant. This is the easiest one yet. I enabled an integration in Home Assistant called Shopping Lists. That's it. The voice works, and most importantly, because there is a Home Assistant app in the same way as there is an Amazon Alexa app, you can go into Home Assistant, hit the little button at the side, go to to-do lists, and go to shopping list. There, look, eggs, red wine, milk.
Okay, Nabu.
Add sacrificial virgin to my shopping list.
Added sacrificial virgin.
Sacrificial virgin. It's funny, isn't it? Is that funny? I'm not a virgin! Timers are built in automatically, so you can use those right from the beginning.
Timer set for 10 seconds.
And because it's Home Assistant, I can do insane things like this. Cameras.
Started.
Ah, it's so fast! So good, so clever. That's the cameras on my Mac. That's the Reolink app on my Mac, which isn't even connected to Home Assistant. Very, very, very cool stuff. And you can basically achieve anything if you stick your mind to it and, you know, abuse ChatGPT. So what's wrong with it? There is always an elephant in the room. It's garbage. Everything I've done is garbage. So most of it works really well. It's not garbage. What is garbage is the LLM running on my Mac. It doesn't matter which one I install, they are not quite right. They hallucinate. Every LLM hallucinates, and this one is no different. Even after 3 days of looking through different large language models and installing them one at a time on my Mac and testing them, they're all trash. This is the best of a bad bunch, and basically, it will say it's done stuff when it hasn't done stuff if it gets overcomplicated. And the best thing to do, the way to really make this better than Amazon Alexa, is to create an automation for every single thing that you want to be able to achieve on a regular basis. So for me, it's things like chill out mode in this office has an automation set up that listens out specifically for specific words, and those words convert into that routine happening. It happens much quicker and it happens every single time. You can do that with things like Spotify, as I have. You can do that with routines for controlling automations, which is obviously what I'm doing with my lights. I could have it for a light timer that sends an LED strip into kind of a light timer mode going around the room. I've done that. You could set it for locking and unlocking doors. These are all the sorts of things I would take away from the large language model and just let Home Assistant handle. And when you create an automation, that's exactly what you're doing. All the large language model does for me personally is answer what the weather is, because that has to go and find that out from something, and I can't be bothered to set up an automation to do that. And where my wife is. Just when I say where is my wife, it figures out if the entity Nisha is in the house or out of the house, and it responds. And it's not as fast. It's just not as fast. So there's no getting around the fact that stuff on the internet is bigger. There are bigger servers containing bigger large language models and more technology than I could ever fit on my little Mac. My Mac is very powerful, but it's not ever going to be as fast as Amazon's servers are across the internet, even with my internet connection in the middle. But with all that said, this works entirely without an internet connection, which you can't do with Alexa. It's entirely private, which means Jeff is no longer watching me on the toilet. All my smart home products are now under one roof in one application, and none of it can be broken by a company on the internet either going bankrupt or deciding you owe them a subscription every month. I have entirely repurposed my Echo Show now. It doesn't show photos of my kids from Amazon Photos anymore. Who wants that? Who wants photos of their stupid kids? I've got Star Trek stuff. This actually works. This is the thing that I did. I can swipe up and down and change lights and stuff because Home Assistant. Home Assistant. Home Assistant. Home Assistant. Home Assistant. Home Assistant! Home Assistant! If you're interested in learning how to do any of this stuff and you like a bit of the old dad joke stuff, why not subscribe? Because I do this thing all the time. Constantly making weird stuff happen with this room and teaching you guys how to do it, at least to some degree. And if you want kind of more in-depth tutorials on any of the stuff I've covered today, then let me know in the comments, and it gives me the idea. Perhaps I should make that video next time I've got a space. This video wouldn't be possible without these incredible people. They're my patrons, and they're running up your screen right now. I thank one at least every week, and I have too many to remember off the top of my head again. I'm so grateful. This week, brand new are Michael Reed, Ian Gardner, David Stevenson, and Simpled. It's not his real name. Or is it? Sorry, Simpled. Sorry if I got your name wrong there. We're all friends here. What am I talking about? Come and do that at either Patreon or buy me a one-off beer at PayPal, and either way, I will genuinely love you forever. These are my Facebooks and my X's, my Threads, my Instagrams, and my TikToks. Come on out there, we can be best friends. See you next time.